What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. We have the delayed balance adjustment preview finally out here. We knew the list, but we can officially see what Smilegate is changing for all these units. A pretty hefty balance patch compared to some of our previous ones, and let's get straight into it, guys. So there was some errors loading the website, but we're finally able to see it on the actual website here. People were sharing around like an imager. So I did get a preview of this, but let's go ahead and check this out together. First up, guys, we have Judge Kise here, and she is getting some significant changes, right? Sever is now going to have, let's see here, an increased a 20% straight defense pen, where before she had a chance for defense break. Skill enhancement is going to be adjusted as well. End of Evil will now dispel all buffs. Seems like a lot of units now just have a way to dispel all buffs before 100% chance to make them unable to counterattack for 2 turns. That is kind of crazy, and I think this is just, you know, par for the course in terms of units that want to be able to cleave like Judge Kise. A lot of times, you know, we've seen there are problem units that have strong counterattacks and kind of just stop a lot of these cleaver units in their tracks. So I think Smilegate thought they need to give Judge Kise this. Very powerful, and a 75% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns as well. So she's going to have a defense break additionally here as well with, seems like it's going to be, is that 90%? 10, 15 on top of a 75? We'll see about that. It's kind of an awkward number. But that the can't be unable to counterattack is huge. The full dispel is huge. And all we're getting in exchange for that is the blind, which this is definitely a much better, you know, trade-off. Wave of Light now. Let's see the awakened version. Attacks all enemies by distorting space and time and before increasing skill cooldowns by 1 turn. Grants invincibility to the caster for 1 turn as well. Damage dealt increases with more enemies, which we already had. We're also getting a 1 turn cooldown decrease here and a damage dealt increase overall. So this should be just a net positive in terms of damage. There are some slight adjustments as well to the skill enhancements, because we are, let's see here, we're losing the effect chance on the dispel, so they're moving that here to the full dispel here on the End of Evil, and now you just get straight skill damage enhancements. On top of that too, they're changing your imprint concentration to effectiveness. So for those of you that have, you know, your imprints on Judge Kise and you used like self imprint before, you might lose some damage, but hopefully with all the, you know, the damage dealt increased modifiers we're getting here, you're going to be able to get some additional effectiveness as well. So you can get those dispels and the defense breaks, all that stuff. Overall, very, very crazy buffs. I can't fully grasp how good this will be, but on paper, this is insane. At least as someone that's fought Judge Kise's in the past. She isn't the fastest unit, so you will need some crazy gear, especially if you want to, you know, make sure she gets through uncontested. But any Judge Kise that has her free reign, I think is going to be an absolute terror. So watch out for this unit. Our boy Spez here compared to Judge Kise, much, much lighter. And it looks like he's going to be losing his chance to counterattack. But instead, when this skill is available according to cooldown count, he's going to get a straight 50% evasion. Definitely not as exciting as like Judge Kise, like I mentioned. And I think a lot of Spez fans may not be the happiest with this, because they are taking something away. However, I think having a 50% evasion is pretty powerful if you don't mind playing a little bit of that RNG game. But I am worried, or I am afraid that Spez fans may not like this change too much. But I would advise maybe just, you know, let's see where it goes. This could end up being pretty damn good, but yeah, it is quite a light change. Now, Spirit Eye Celine, this is one I know a lot of people thought she maybe didn't need buffs overall. My own thoughts were that she wasn't in, you know, like a meta spot per se. She was definitely solid enough, and a lot of other units probably needed a buff more, but I didn't mind since we did have 2 other ML5s already on the list. So let's go and see what they're adding to Spirit Eye Celine's kit here. Mighty Strike, which is a skill 1, and then you have that activatable Nimble Sword as well. It looks like our defense pen is going to be increased to 50%, right? So 15% increase. And we're also getting absorb damage dealt as health, which I think she already had. But maybe it was on a different part of her kit here because they're showing it in green. The Spirit Gate Burning Possession, the Awakened version. Let's see what they're changing here. When attacking. Yeah, so this used to the spirit absorption, the health absorption, excuse me, used to be on the actual possession effect, and now it's just going to be kind of built into her nimble blade, which is, you know, that's the only time you're going to be doing damage anyways. And we're also going to get a straight up increased attack by 25%. Let me see what they're saying here. This doesn't seem like it's too much. We do get a 15% defense increase. The health absorption on the skill 1 is definitely just a better part of her kit, because now even if somehow you got stripped, you didn't get into skill 3 for some reason, you still will get some health absorption back. But let's see, her nimble sword will undergo adjustments. A compensatory? This means compensation, but I actually don't know how to pronounce that. Let me know in the comments, guys. Feature will be introduced, granting a 25% increased attack when possession is granted. This enhancement aims to elevate her overall usability and address previous concerns. Okay. So increase attack, 15% damage, 15% increased defense pen, and then we get the nimble sword damage dealt increased as well. Okay. I mean, I kind of like that. Not anything, this doesn't really change her game plan overall. She still will have her major weaknesses, but it's another nice little boost to her kit. So she might be even more effective. And especially against units like Abyssal Euphine, right? Which I know a lot of people like to use her against in areas like Arena, maybe Guild Wars. That extra defense pen will be very, very nice. Okay, moving on, guys. We have Hwayoung, and I know a lot of people were looking at this one here, or expecting this to be pretty significant. Let's see, the Supersonic Kick, the skill 1. After a successful attack, inflicts additional damage proportional to the caster attack, where before she needed a buff to have that additional damage. So we lose that condition on needing a buff, and we're also getting some damage dealt increase as well. On top of that, our soul burn is being moved here to the skill 1, which we can use for 10 souls to get just more damage on top of that. Prairie Hawk, her passive now. Looks like we're losing the attack increase by 30% here. This stays the same. The damage dealt suffer stays the same. At the start of the turn, when the caster does not have a debuff, increases attack for 1 turn. Okay. So we're losing it as a passive, and before it would have skill enhancements as well. Now, we do still have a condition. So I think this stays about the same, guys. It's just now this is a little bit worse off. I don't know if I would call it a nerf. We'll have to see what the rest of her kit is. But instead of just getting a straight, you know, big attack boost in her passive, now we're going to need to make sure Hwa starts her turn without a debuff, and then we'll get a self-attack up as well. So that should stay the same. It's just now you need to make sure she doesn't have a debuff if you want that attack boost on top of it. In the Monarch's Flaming Striker skill 3, let's see the Awakened. A lot of green and red text here. So we still get the Grand Immunity. Our barrier is going to be moved. I believe that was on her passive, right? Yeah, Grant's Parry here. Grant's Barrier from the Prairie Hawk is now going to be moved to the skill 3, which I think is not as good, right? It was really nice on the passive because it would start of the battle and at the end of the turn, you would get that barrier every time. Now it's only going to be activated on her skill 3, which will have a, you know, we do see a 1 turn decrease in the cooldown. So that is kind of nice. Damage dealt reduced. Hold on. Let me read this fully, guys. When the caster's attack is greater than the target's attack, penetrates the target's defense. So this is getting changed from max health, which is actually very, very good. She will go from she used to only be able to tank bust, and really only when, you know, the opponent's health was very high. Now, she'll be a lot better against any unit that just has, you know, lower attack than her. And if they do have super low attack, she's going to have full defense pen, which could be insane, especially against units like Abyssal Euphine, which I brought up earlier. Other units as well. Not just that, but units that aren't super, super tanky. So I think this is a huge win. Barrier strength increased proportional to the caster's attack. So the damage dealt is getting reduced, maybe to make up for the new change, because this will make her a lot more effective against more of the field. Or just because also we want to lower the cooldown is getting reduced by 1 turn as well. But I already know a lot of people are going to be upset. 1, because of the barrier move from the passive to here. The damage dealt getting reduced on the skill 3. And on top of that, the conditional of her passive attack getting changed. Now you have to make sure you don't have a buff to get self-attack up. So if you do have something like any debuff at all, you won't get that, let alone like unbuffable. But I do think, guys, this will make her a lot more usable against more of the field. So don't get upset just yet. Let's see how the actual modifiers affect her. And I think hopefully if Smilegate does it right, she'll just be a lot more usable against way more of the cast. So this should be a straight win, but I expect a lot of people to not be happy initially. Let's wait to see, okay? This is one we want to really wait to see what happens. Elena, let's see what they're changing. Not too many effects here. Okay, this is exactly what I thought when I saw her on the list they might give her. Additional Dispel, and she also has an exclusive equipment, so they're going to allow you to get an additional Dispel on top of it. So now her skill 3, before she had a Dispel on her skill 1, and now her skill 3 will also give a Dispel, and then if we combine that with the EE, that's 2 Dispels, right? So if anyone was running artifacts, maybe like Doctor's Bag, you can change that up. I think this is great utility, because Lena is a unit that always makes a splash sometime during the RTA meta. Any PvP meta, and I think this is just going to make her a lot more consistent, especially against debuffs, which are so powerful in the current state of the game. Command Model Leica. This is a unit I don't know too well, so luckily they're not changing too much on her kit, it looks like. Volley Fire is now going to get a 100% chance to decrease speed, which it always had, but a increase, so it's going to just... The chance to sleep is now going to be a lot more consistent at 100. Both the speed and the sleep will be at 100, whereas before it was just the speed. Oh, hold on. Let me read the Awakened in case I missed anything here. Shootouts all wings with 100% each decrease speed for 2 turns and put them to sleep for 1 turn before grants immunity to allies. Okay, so no, it's about the same, but she will get more consistent debuff on the sleep part. So sleeps are definitely getting pushed. And remember, guys, the upcoming... Dragon King Sharoon is going to have some anti-sleep, anti-stun mechanics. So all these units getting sleep and stuff, you know, maybe you might want to start pulling for that newest ML coming out. Exclusive equipment change here. Increase buff duration to target by 1 turn using strike order, where before it was the sleep chance. Okay, so since they're adding that sleep chance built into her kit now, we're going to get a brand new effect on the option 2. Decreases buff duration to the target by 1 turn. Okay, maybe this is kind of nice. We can get rid of... you know, immunity sets or things like that. And now we just have an increased chance, more than 10% actually, because before I believe it was 75. Now it's 100. All right, cool. Any Leica fans? It's a pretty good buff. Oxlots. Let's see what they're changing on Oxlots. Mana Injection. I'm really surprised they're changing Oxlots. I thought he was fine. He's used in a lot of areas of the game. Maybe not as good a cleave option as other newer power crept things, but ever since the start of the game, this guy has been insane. Oh, this is actually not good. Cooldown and getting increased by 1 turn here. Soulburn getting moved now to the what was it before? It was on the skill 3, I think, before, right? Yeah, before the skill 3, the silence. Now it's going to be added to the skill 2, the mana injection. But anyone that doesn't know, guys, Oxlot has a lot of cool things where his downtime on the 100% combat readiness boost is so low at 2 turns, which it is currently in the game, that you could do a lot of cool things, especially in areas like Abyss, for example. Maybe AI Arena, things like that. So getting that 1 turn cooldown increase is going to give him a lot more downtime. It's going to feel kind of bad, but instead he's going to get increased effectiveness. And I guess you could just Soulburn to keep this, you know. Well, no, it still doesn't make sense. We would Soulburn the skill 3. So we get... Okay, this is kind of nice. We get 2 dispels, but I think the increased skill cooldown here is going to make a. This is the only part I don't like. Even if this does end up being better in some situations, right? The dispel 2 buffs, the effectiveness for it looks like him and the caster, or for the caster and his target, right? Am I reading this correctly? Jackson Alex for the caster, increasing attack and effectiveness. Yeah, so he'll have effectiveness for himself, for the target. And he'll also now get a Dispel 2 buffs. But I think whenever Smallgate changes things that do affect other areas of the game like PvE, I know a lot of players that liked how things were at before. This is kind of an indirect change to their gameplay, so I imagine a lot of people are not going to be happy with this one. But hopefully for PvP and maybe for like cleaving purposes, the Dispel and the effectiveness might be nice. We'll see. Effectiveness could be huge. It seems like they're pushing this on a lot of units. Infinite Horizon Acades. All right, let's see what they're changing for one of our newer ML4s. Not super new, but Matter Reconstruction, which is the big skill 3. Oh, wow, this is all they're changing. Okay, so I did mention, guys, when we saw the list, I did say in my opinion, Infinite Horizon Acadi's biggest strength is not the full gamble casino where you get random buffs, right? Even though those buffs could be insane, the biggest thing about her compared to other Soul Weavers to me is this combat readiness push here. Because whenever her skill is available, at the end of an enemy's turn, she just pushes 15%, right? Now they're increasing that by another 5%, which may not seem huge, but I like this change because this is already what makes her unique, and she's going to be even better at it. So, yeah, let's see. Maybe this is... I kind of like this change. This really won't change. If you didn't like her before, you may not like her now. But anyone that was using her to her strengths, I think this could be huge. Roman. I don't even remember the last guy I saw this guy being played. Blue Roman, though. Event Horizon, which I believe is his skill 3. Shoots a powerful gravity sphere at all enemies, dispelling all buffs before inflicting restrict and 2 poison effects. Increase combat readiness of the caster. Let me see what he used to do. When the enemy's buff damage dealt increases, and the enemy's inflicted with 2 poison effects before increasing the caster's combat readiness. So it seems like he's just losing a lot of these conditionals, and now it's just going to have restrict on top of it, which should just make him a lot smoother in terms of gameplay. And then restrict on top is kind of nice as well. His ability to control the condition for increased damage dealt by his skill. Event Horizon, the effect of increasing combat readiness will be removed. Okay, yeah. I don't know how good this is, but I mean, those are straight buffs, right? We remove the annoying condition here when the enemy's buffed. Now he just straight up does the full damage, and he'll get restrict on top of it. Okay. It seems like that part's getting changed, but he's going to get combat readiness increase. Oh, no, excuse me. He already had that, but this part is getting additional before increasing the caster combat readiness by an additional 30. Okay, I don't think they mentioned this in the part, but that might be a slight change there as well. Okay, let's see Momo. Angelic Malmorty, let's just jump to her. Sleep Sorcery. Another sleep effect change, guys. Yeah. The Dragon King Shroom stock's going up already. But she's going to get increased chance to sleep now, right, on the skill 1. 75% is pretty big. And then the Solitude Rune, which was actually... She didn't always have this. This was one of the later buffs she got. We're getting a 5% damage decrease suffered as well. So really not too significant changes. The main way that late endgame players, I try to mention this whenever I can, is Momo is still one of the highest uptime cleansers in the game. Whereas a lot of other times, if you don't need like crazy uptime on cleansing, units, of course, like Mediator Karik, Hand Guy, or like Destina are just going to be better because they have additional effects on top of it. But if you ever have so many debuffs, Momo is probably one of the best, if not the best, at consistently removing debuffs. And now she's going to get even more survivable. On top of that, too, I do think this was Smilegate's aim at just giving early players with how strong debuffs are make it even better, the free-to-play option for cleansing. So that's pretty good. Okay, I think we're almost at the end of the road here, guys. Let's check out the artifact. Circus Fantasia is going to just straight up, I think this all stays the same, is going to straight up just get increased crit chance by 15% on top of that. Okay. I know a lot of people are using this on units like Conqueror Lilius, so I don't know how good that is for her. I guess extra damage is always nice for some occasions. But yeah, maybe this will open up the possibility for other units as well. Just a straight 15% increased chance is really good. Manica of Control, which is already a pretty good artifact. Let's see what they're changing. Before, it did increase hit by 10 to 20 and crit chance by 15 on a single attack. Now the crit chance by 15%, that's going to work on all effects, but the hit chance will only still work on the single attack. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So the crit chance will just work always, but the hit chance will still be on single attacks only. So this is still pretty nice. I think it was already being used, so... That's straight up. This part is really good, but keep in mind this is also still single target. Sacred Tree Branch, right? Sharoon's already, I believe. We still have the effectiveness. After attack, increases combat radius of the caster and the ally except for the caster with the highest attack. After using a basic skill, increases combat radius of the ally except for the caster with the highest attack. Radius of the caster and the ally. So now it's going to affect both the caster, whoever's using it, and the ally, where before it only was the ally. And after attacking versus after using a basic skill. So now it works always anytime you do an offensive ability instead of just your skill 1, I guess, right? Let me see if that's correct here. Save tree will no longer require basic attack, and any attack will trigger. Okay. So like in the example of Sharoon, guys, now this will proc off her skill 3, not just her skill 1. And additionally, it will also affect the caster, not just the ally, right? Both the caster and the ally. Yeah, okay, so that's a pretty pretty big adjustment there as well. Okay, well, guys, wow, it looks like people are not too excited. Okay, I'm surprised. Let me know, guys, in the comments below. Remember, you can always express your opinion. If you guys are not happy with this, please speak freely. I always want to hear your honest thoughts, and stop by the live stream so we can talk about this live tomorrow as well. But I hopefully you guys can stay positive enough, and just let's see where these changes go. If they truly are indeed bad, then yeah, I will definitely express our concerns as well. But things like, especially like the hwayoung, let's wait and see, okay? Let Smilegate cook a little bit, and let's see if it actually does end up being a net positive increase, even though some things are getting slightly adjusted. Some things majorly adjusted, like the Oxlot. So I definitely understand the frustration on some people's end, but hopefully this is a good change overall. All right, guys, let's wrap things up there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.